morning, students. Today I am going to start the remaining chapter which we have done in our previous lecture, and the title of that chapter is The Enemy from Vistas. Okay, sorry, this is a flamingo from Vistas. So, let me tell you something about what we have done previous. And the thing was that this is the story about the doctor, a Japanese doctor who finds an enemy, and they are thinking that an American is an enemy for them. So he finds an American prisoner of war and near the seashore, and he was in a dying state or in a dying condition, and he found at the doorstep, and how he saved him as a doctor. Or there is a dilemma in the mind of the doctor that should he save him as a doctor, and should he hand over to the army as a patriotic, right? So we were doing this the line by line explanation. So here we stop here that he took the army man, that American man, into the house and into the room, and they were thinking that he is very dirty, and there is a conversation between the husband and wife, Dr. Sadao and Hannah. So here, let's start line by line explanation. He's so dirty, he murmured in distress. Now I told you that they found one body and one man, American man, and while seeing that from the name, from the cap, that it is written that American Army, and he is an American man, right, sailor. So, and he is also a prisoner, and he came from the Japanese army. Okay, he escaped from that. So here she says, means Hannah is saying that he's so dirty. Yes, he had better to be washed. Sadao agreed. If you will fetch hot water, I will wash him. Okay. Now here Sadao was asking, as a doctor, he would like to treat on him, and he said that if you bring hot water, I'll wash his wound. I cannot bear for you to touch him, he said. She said, we shall have to tell the servant he is dead. I will tell Yumi now. She can leave the children for a minute, and she can wash him. Here, the Sana is sorry, Hana is saying that I'll not let you to touch this American boy and this American servant. I'll let the servant. There is a servant and whose name is Yumi. There is a maid servant, and I'll let him to leave the children for a while and watch this American boy. Sadao considered a moment. Let it be so. He agreed. Now, here you can see that there is so much agreement between the husband and wife. Whatever they are saying, they are listening to each other. And here the Sadao is also agreed with the thing. This is given. The idea which is given by the Hannah. But the utter pallor of the man's unconscious face moved him first to the stoop and feel his pulse. Right now, here you can see that the utter pallor means of the man की जो man's unconscious face moved him first to stoop and feel his pulse. But because the condition of the boy, the man, that the doctor was very curious or to know the reason, and he stooped the utter, right? He is very unconscious. The man was very unconscious, and his face moved him first to stoop and feel his pulse. He was so bent forward that the man himself can hear the pulse on the heartbeats of his. It was faint, but it was there. Okay. Now, when the doctor was checking the pulse or the heartbeat, that it was found that he was unconscious, but he was alive. He put his hand against the man's cold breast, and The heart too was yet alive. And he put his hand on the chest and he could arise. That was a very cold. And he come to know that he is alive. He will die unless he is operated on, Sadav said, considering the question is whether he will not die anyway. Now here Sadav is said that it will not treat him, maybe, perhaps he will be die very soon. And the question is whether he will not die anyway, or maybe he will not die. Hannah cried out in fear. Don't try to save him. What if he should alive? Now here the conversation about that. Don't try to save him. And if he will be alive, then he should alive. That what you will be do? What if he should die? Sadav replied. Now if he will be die, then there will be what happened? That Sadav was replying, and Hannah is saying that don't save him because if he would alive then this can be a trouble for them because he is an enemy. He stood gazing with staring down on the motionless man. That there is a unconsciousness in man's body. So he was gazing or staring on that man. This man must have extraordinary vitality, or he would have been dead by now. Vitality means energy or life. The doctor is saying that this man is very extraordinary and there is so much energy in his body. Otherwise, he will not be alive by now. But then he was very young, perhaps not 25. And again, he is saying that he is around 25 years old and he is very young. That's why that he had this much of strength in him. You mean die from the operation? Hannah asked. Hannah was asking that he would die if you go for operation. Sadav said, yes, because this is a very dangerous operation and you have to do it at home. Hannah considered this doubtfully, and when she did not answer, Sadav turned away. Okay. Now, Hannah was not giving the answer, so he turned away. At any rate, something must be done with him. As a doctor, he is saying that I have to do something on him, and first he must be washed. First of all, we have to wash the body or wound. He went quickly out of the room. Hannah came behind him. She did not wish to be left alone with the white man. Now when he came out of the room, doctor again behind that immediately, quickly, Hannah is also going after the doctor because he would not like to stay alone with this white man. He was the first. He was the first she had seen since she left the America, and now she seemed to have nothing to do with those who she had known there. Okay, after so many years, after leaving the America, this is the first man that he had she had seen as a white or American man, and she had not any connection with the Americans after leaving the America. Here she was her enemy, a man's or living or dead, right? Here she says that this man is just an enemy and it is a danger or threat whether he is living or whether he is dead. She turned to the nursery and called. Nursery is one type of room in a house for a children. So he turned to that room and called Yumi. I told you that Yumi is the maid servant in her house. But the children heard her voice and she had to go for a moment and smile at them and play with the boy, baby boy, and now nearly 3 months old. Now the baby, that is the one 3 months old baby boy was there. And after hearing the voice of her mother, she went inside and played with him for a while. Over the baby's soft black hair, she motioned with her mouth, Yumi came with me. Okay. Now by playing with the hair of that boy, she said that Yumi came with me. I need your hair. I will put the baby to bed. Yumi replied, he is ready. Now the baby is going to sleep. So he said that I am going to put her into the bed. She went with Yumi into the bedroom next to the nursery and stood with the boy in her arms while Yumi spread the sleeping quilts on the floor and let the baby between them. Now here the baby was in the hand of the Hannah, and the servant is making a bed for the baby so that he can sleep. Then Hannah led the way quickly and softly to the kitchen, and then after Hannah went to the kitchen for the hot water. The two servants, now which there is the two servants were frightened at what their master had just told them. Now these two servants, that is the gardener and others, were very frightened or very shocked to hear the thing about the American man and the incident about the American enemy. The old gardener, who was also a house servant, pulled the few hairs on his upper lips, right? So he was very frightened by hearing the news of this American boy, and he is a very old servant of his house. The master ought not to heal the wound of his white man, he said bluntly to Hannah. Bluntly means without straightforward. He said, Hannah, though he is a servant, he said that there is no need to heal the wound of this white man, this American man. The white man ought to die, that he must be died because he is our enemy. First he was sought. Now why he is saying that, there is some reason. Now the first reason is that first he was sought, means he had a gun, he was shot by a gun, and then the sea caught him and wounded him with her rock. And when he went to the sea again caught him and wounded him with her rock. So now here the Japanese army as well as the country of Japan is not ready to heal him. So if the master heals what the gun did and what the sea did, they will take revenge on us. So if the master will try to save this guy, then this this gun is the Japanese army and the country. See here is talking about the country land will take the revenge on us. I will tell him what you say. Hannah replied courteously, politely. She replied that because right now she is very frightened, and she said that I'll tell the Sadao. But she herself was also frightened. She was very worried. Although she was not superstition, and on the other side, superstitious means irrational beliefs. This type of beliefs she was not believing, as the old man was. Now the way the old man was believing, that the Hannah was not believing on superstitions. Could it ever be well to help an enemy? Nevertheless, she told Yumi to fetch the hot water, bring it to the room where the white man was. Now the Hannah was telling that please fetch the hot water in the room so that Dr. Sadav can treat him. She went ahead and slid back the partition. Sadav was not yet there. Yumi, following, put down her wooden bucket. Then she went over to the white man. Okay. Now you may put that bucket into the room where the American boy was there, and then she went over the white man. And white man के पास जाती है. When she saw him, her thick lips folded themselves into the stubbornness. Now when Yumi was watching that man, that he was folding his lips and he was very stubborn. I have never watched a white man, she said, and I'll not wash so dirty a man or one now. Now, bluntly, she is she is saying that I am not going to wash a white man, and he is so dirty that I am not going to wash him. Hannah cried at her severely. You will do what your master commands. Now here Hannah was very angry and he cried or said loudly that you have to wash this man because this is the master's order or command that you have to follow. There was no force a look of resistance upon Yumi's round dull face that Hannah felt unreasonably afraid. Now after saying that the Hannah didn't see any danger look or any refusal look on the face of the dull face of the Yumi as a master when she said that you have to do this, but there was nothing that there was the face of refusal face was there on Yumi's facial expression. After all, if the servant should report something that was not as it happened, it happened. Now here there was one afraid there is one fear in the mind of Hannah that if the servants would report to the Japanese army and which was not happened actually, and they will give the wrong report about the American men, that they will be put in trouble. So she changed her voice and politely says that very well. She said with dignity, politely and dignity, she said that you understand, we only want to bring him to his sense so that we can turn him over a prisoner. Now she has cleared the reason that why and what they are doing. She said that we just bring him the consciousness. Now we will give him the life and then we'll hand over to the prisoner to the police. I will have nothing to do with you, Miss said. I am a poor person and it is not my business. Now here the Yumi is saying that this is none of my business and I am not going to do and I am not going to have to serve this man and this is none of my business. I am very a poor person. Then please, Hannah said gently, return to your own work, okay? Now you just go to your work, I'll do it. At once Yumi left the room, but this left Hannah with a white man alone. Now here, alone she was there in the room. She might have been too afraid to stay and had not her anger at Yumi's stubbornness now sustained her. Now she was all alone in the room and she was very angry because of this straightforward answer of this servant. And when she was alone in the room, slowly, his stubbornness, his firm determination sustained her. Okay, there is a strained stubbornness in the voice of Yumi. Stupid Yumi. She muttered fiercely, right? She was muttering, means murmuring inside that she is very stupid servant. Is this anything but a man and a wounded, helpless man? There is nothing. He is just helping the helpless man, a wounded man. In the conviction of her own superiority, she bent impulsively and united the notes, rocks that kept the white man covered. Now, conviction means that is agreement of her own superficial with his firmness, because before that she was not ready to get inside the room, but afterwards she is calmed down and bent impulsively to do something without thinking. Now she was thinking about the servant and how stupid she was and how determination in his answer was, that she was impulsively and united the noted drugs that kept the white man covered. And without knowing, she was noting the rocks. Rocks that is means the blanket fold. Okay, fold of light color ka jo blanket tha. So that was the white man was covered, and she unconsciously she was unnoting, right? So untied, she was doing that. When she had this breast bare, she dipped the small clean towel that Yummy had brought into the steaming hot water and washed his face carefully. And now, with the help of this hot towel, that she was trying to clean the face of that man. Wash his face. The man's skin, though rough with exposure, was of a fine texture and must have been very blonde when she was a child. Now, after seeing the texture of the skin and the face, she was thinking that he is a very good and very good looking guy and person, and with very good exposure was that, and sorry, very good sorry, rough exposure means his rough cuts and wounds on his face, injuries were faced, and he was very good looking when he was a child because of her fair skin. While she was thinking these thoughts, Though not really liking the man better now that he was no longer a child, she kept on washing him until his upper body was quite clean. So now she was thinking that right now he was not a child, and by kept on kept on washing his face and his body, upper body. But she dared not turn him over. She was not daring to turn him over. Where was Sadao? Now her anger was ebbing. Ebbing means decreasing. Gradually it is slowing down his anger, and she was asking about where is Dr. Sadao. She was anxious again and she rose, wiping her hands on the wrong towel. Then lest the man be chilled, she put the quilt over him. Okay. Now she wiped her hands with the wrong towel, and she covered the man with a quilt. Quilt means you can use the rajai, you can say that blanket over him. Sadao, she called softly. Now his anger is slowly decreasing, gradually decreasing, and she said that where is Sadao? He had been out about to come in when she called. His hand had been on the door, and now she opened it. He was at the door of the room, and he is about to come. She saw, and he had brought his surgeon's emergency bag that she wore. He wore his surgeon's coat. Now he was bringing the emergency surgeon kit, and he was wearing the doctor surgeon coat. You have decided to operate, she cried. She was asking that, did you really like to operate, or have you decided? And he said shortly, yes. He turned his back to her and unfolded a sterilized towel upon the floor on the tokonoma of an alcove, and put his instrument out upon him. Now here he had decided that he would like to treat on this man, this injured wounded man. So he pulled it her he turned his back to her, means he turned slowly so that she will not ask again. Unfolded a sterilized towel, that is one sterilized towel was there, and he put all his instrument on that, put his instrument out upon that. Now what is tokonoma enclosed? Now here there is a details of tokonoma. Tokonoma enclosed. The word toko literally means floor, or you can say the bed. Ma means space, or you can say the room. In English, tokonoma is usually called alcove in a part of a room where things are displayed. A niche or an alcove in Japanese home for displaying a flower arrangement, kokinomo, or the other part of a piece of art, right? सो फ्लोर ऑफ द टॉकी मनोज जहाँ पे होता है वहां पे उसने स्टरलाइज डॉल रखा, और उस पे उसने पूरा सर्जिकल केस उसने रख दी. Fetch towel, he said. Please fetch the towel. Fetch means bring the towel. She went obediently. Now she is obediently follow the instruction of the Sadao, but how anxious now to the linen silks, and took out the towels. There ought also to be old pieces of batting so that the blood would not ruin the fine floor covering. Now here, if this is the nature of the girl or any woman in the world, that they are very much conscious about their essential things, right? Their enmity. So she also brings some matting, that is old matting from the outside garden, to put on the floor so that the mat is not ruined because of the floor is not ruined because of the blood. She went out to the back veranda where the garden kept strips of matting with which to protect delicate stalks on cold nights, and took an armful of them. Now I told you that she went to the garden and bring some matting, so the matting strips लेके आई, which is used for the serve some cold nights. जब cold nights होता है तब delicates जो soaps होती है, that is a plant, उसको cover करने के लिए जो mats use की जाती है उसको लेके वो inside आती है, so that the floor cannot be ruined. But when she went back into the room, she saw this was useless. Okay, जब अंदर आई तब ऐसा कुछ नहीं था, because this is already ruined. The blood had already soaked through the packing in the man's wound and had ruined the mat under him. Okay, when the doctor had opened that wound, it is already the blood is oozing and the mat under that man is had already ruined. Oh, the mat, she cried. Yes, it is urine, Sadao replied, as though he did not care. Help me to turn him, he commanded over. Now here the doctor is not ready, or he is not this is not important for him, and he did not care about what is going or doing. He is telling that please help me to turn him. She obeyed him without a word, and he began to wash the man's back carefully. Now he started cleaning the back because there is a wound at the back side. Yumi would not wash him, she said. Did you wash him then? Sarao asked, not stopping for a moment his swift, concise movement. Now, here she is trying to complain about the servant that Yumi bluntly denied to wash him, and Sadao said that, did you wash them? She said, yes. He did not seem to hear him, but she was used to use this absorption when he was at work. Right now, this is the nature of a man, that a girl is very talkative and they are talking about so many things. And man, when he is working on something, he is not thinking about what is going around, and he is not taking care of that what the wife is telling him when he is engrossed in his work. So same here happened with the doctor, that he is engrossed in his work to cleaning the and to operating the man. So he wondered for a moment if he it mattered to him what was the body upon which he worked so long, and it was for the work he did so excellently, right? So he was working on the matter that he is excellently, so he did not pay attention on other things. You will have to give an anesthetic if he needs it, he said. Now here he have to give the anesthesia so that he can be unconscious, and the doctor can the doctor can operate him. I, she repeated it blankly, but never have I. Okay, now Hannah said that how I, because I don't know how to give, I can never, I haven't done it before. It's easy enough, she said impatiently. It is very easy. I'll instruct you and you follow my instruction. He was talking about the packing now. He was taking out the packing now, and the blood began to flow more quickly. Now he is going to untie or that packing, unpack that packing that on the wound, and maybe the blood is oozing now. The flow, okay. He peered into the wound with the bright surgeon's light fastened on his forehead. Now he is cleaning the wound very fastly, like a surgeon, and the bullet is still there. He said with a full interest, right? Now he said that there is a bullet inside. Now here you can see that this is the surgeon. There is he put on the clothes of a surgeon. There is one light on his head so that he could find out the bullet inside, and he said that there is still bullet inside. He said with full interest. Now I wondered how deep this rock wood is. Now you can see that this deep that the rock had give the wound very deep, and so that it is very difficult to pull out that bullet in from inside. Here you can see in the picture, this is the Hannah. This is the Japanese clothes that she was wearing, and this is the doctor clothes and doctor teeth was. This is the American man. There is a wound backside, and the blood is oozing when he opened the pack. Okay, and here how is the situation of this Hannah? Let us see further. If it is not too deep, it may be that I can get the bullet. If it is not deep, then I can get the bullet very easily. But because of this drop, the wound is very deep and the bullet is gone inside. But the bleeding is not superficial, and he has lost so much blood. And you can see that from last many times that he lost so many blood. At this moment, Hannah choked. Hannah choked means he was shocked, because when this is the nature of a girl, when you see the blood is coming out from somewhere or any accident, or when we saw any accident, the woman is very feared and frightened and shocked. He looked up and saw her face the color of sulfur. Sulfur means one type of element is that, this is a yellow type element is that, and his face is just like a sulfur color, pale. Pale means yellow, yellow color because of this frightened that area, this oozing of blood and the scene of operation. Don't faint, he said sharply. He did not put down his exploring instrument. If I stop now, the man will surely die. Now, the doctor is saying that please you don't fail because I need your help, and I cannot put my instrument down because I need your help. I need one nurse who can help me. And if I stop now, the man will surely die. And if I do this to bring to get something, that he will be die. She clapped her hands to her mouth and leaped up and ran out of the room. Here you can see in the picture that she is feeling like uneasy and vomiting, right? She is feeling like vomiting, and she went outside the garden, outside of the room. Outside in the garden, he heard her retching. Retching means the voice of vomiting, that she is doing vomiting because of this scene. But he went on his work. But he doesn't care for this, and he was working. He is working on his work on his treatment. Okay, so now let's stop here. We'll continue with, this is a very long story. So in three part I have divided. So let's stop here and read it and write down the question answer till then. Okay. Have a nice day. Thank you so much.